Dear Sagittarius, a new cycle is calling your name. Today, three sacred symbols, the Ten of Pentacles, death, and justice, rise together on the table like pillars, awakening a mission you've unknowingly delayed. This isn't just the start of another path. It's a reminder that a part of you has matured and is ready to claim the power that has always belonged to you. A treasure has been activated, not in the material sense, but as a legacy of vision, identity, and purpose. You're not only inheriting the outcome, you're inheriting the responsibility to protect a light that was once hidden. Deep within, your soul already knows a farewell is approaching. You can't avoid it. You don't need to delay it, and you definitely don't need to fear it, because that goodbye is actually the promise of a clearer, freer, more deserving path. An old agreement that was unfair, a word that was dismissed, a project left unfinished. All of it now has the chance to be realigned. But if you keep clinging to the old version of yourself, the one who smiled to keep the peace, the one who said yes just to avoid friction, you will lose something far greater, the peace of your own mind. Listen, because only when you listen with an open heart will your voice be respected. Only then will your dreams line up like a real roadmap instead of floating ideals. There is one detail, small on the surface, a memory, a truth, an unspoken word that's holding back the flow of this entire journey. And you know you haven't settled it yet. I want you to pause for a moment. So what I'm about to say can truly change the way you close old doors and step into lands you've never walked. If you feel like I'm speaking to the deepest part of you, write this affirmation in the comments as a gentle soul contract. I am ready to release my old self and step into my true purpose. By choosing to let go, you're not rejecting what once helped you survive. You're simply making space for new energy, awareness, intuition, and sovereign freedom to pour into your life. Sagittarius, you are a child of distant horizons. But today, I'm not asking you to take off and travel. I'm inviting you to sit, to face what's here, to look straight at the card glowing like a warm sun in the middle of the night, the Ten of Pentacles, and understand what you've been searching for out there may have been inside you all along. This is not a story about missed opportunities. It's about values that have ripened through seasons of learning, about the invisible rewards of courage, about the sweet fruit that's been growing quietly from every moment you forgave, stepped back, held your faith, even when no one noticed. Beside that symbol stands death, not as a sentence, but as a sacred wind removing what no longer fits. It hasn't come to threaten you. It has come to lighten you, to make you so weightless you can walk forward on shaking legs. So clear you don't have to over-explain anything because the light inside you speaks louder than words. That card asks one thing of you, the courage to say goodbye, but not the kind of goodbye soaked in grief. It's the solemn farewell of a traveler who knows it's time to leave so they can finally find who they truly are. Letting go is not failure. It is proof that you've completed that lesson, that you deserve a new shell, a new journey, a truth untouched by assumptions. And when you do that, justice will arrive not like a courtroom verdict, but like a gentle knock at the door, whispering to you that the delay has been corrected. The fog is clearing. Truths that were once buried can no longer be denied. It feels like a final chapter is being rewritten, like a contract, this time signed by your own heart. No one can force you to step through that portal. But if you're still listening, still reading this far, then I trust you're ready. Today is not an ordinary day. It is the line between who I once was and who I am now becoming. I shuffle the deck again. 3 cards fall and they steal my breath away as if they touch something sacred in my own heart. 4 of Swords, a symbol of retreat, not because you were weak, but because your intuition knew. You needed silence to stitch your dreams back together. You weren't lazy, you were listening. 8 of Cups, a figure walking away at dawn, leaving behind what once meant everything. No regret, no rush, just the moment had come. A new belief, a new direction, a spark waiting to be reignited. And one more card, part of the 30% that's new in this chapter, the Hierophant. Not a teacher out there, but the inner guide rising within you. You're no longer seeking truth in books or others. You are becoming the truth, becoming the light, becoming the compass of your own sacred journey. If you're still here, Sagittarius, then know this, you are not alone. Never have been. Every step you take becomes a silent teaching for someone else. Every time you choose truth over convenience, you are performing a quiet miracle. And if you feel ready, let your heart knock on that next door and type this into the comments, not for me, but as a vow to yourself. I walk forward not to leave anything behind, but to become who I was born to be. I'll meet you on the other side of that becoming. In the light, in the truth, in the most real version of you. The place you once believed was your final destination now feels too small, not because it changed, but because your vibration has evolved. No matter how much love you gave, no matter how sacred that bond once was, the greatest loyalty now belongs to the truth rising in your chest. You walk away not because someone hurt you, not because you're angry, but because truth called your name, and because life always honors the souls who choose freedom with awareness. The Six of Wands appears not with fanfare or applause, but with a quiet, rightful crown. Someone or something will look back at you with new eyes. Your calm is not indifference. It is the depth of self-respect, born from a heart that has shattered and still chose softness. No one can make this decision for you, and when you choose to walk away, you also choose to become the guardian of your own honor. That's not pride. That's power, sacred, earned power. This month, symbolic funerals will happen. The end of a dream that no longer feeds you. The farewell to a connection that was once holy but now hollow. The letting go of a version of you held too long out of fear of being alone. But you know this now, death isn't the end. It's a beginning in new form. You don't need to pretend to be strong. Let yourself feel the sting, and then let yourself be set free. Six of Cups and Judgment appear like a divine dinner table where old memories wait to be named. There were things once buried, silenced, times you swallowed pain just to keep the peace. But now you are no longer the one who carries the silence. You are the one who names the truth with kindness, with maturity, without vengeance. You did not come to punish the past. You came to witness it clearly. A judgment is not for condemnation. It is for clarity. To see what still belongs and what must be released. And when you speak these truths softly without fear, you cleanse yourself, and healing begins, not just for you, but for those who will enter your life next. If your voice trembles, if your chest aches, that's the blood returning to your body, carrying the wisdom of maturity. A sacred hand turns over 3 more cards: the King of Pentacles, the Tower, the Ace of Cups, the King of Pentacles, a teacher in the real world, bringing contracts, clarity, long-awaited structure. No more vague promises, no more floating plans. Now things come with timelines, responsibilities, and boundaries. And you are the one signing them, as your fully formed self. But for this to happen, the Tower had to do its job, a sacred explosion, breaking what was once called forever, bringing hidden truths to light, exposing a relationship built on illusion, letting a structure collapse because it was made from borrowed beliefs. And when the dust settles, the Ace of Cups arrives, offering you a cup of pure water, a chance to begin again with a heart washed clean. This love no longer needs to be earned. This gentleness no longer needs to prove itself. This is a beginning born from a heart that has finally forgiven itself. Have you noticed it lately? A word that keeps showing up in different conversations. A number flashing on the clock at just the right time. An old song playing right when you needed a sign. That's not a coincidence. It's the language of the universe. A whisper from your spiritual guides, speaking to you in a way your soul can understand, without needing translation. Even when everything feels fine on the outside, life still gently asks you to release what no longer nourishes you. Relationships that lack honest exchange. Roles that make you shrink. Dreams that once made sense, but now feel outdated. You don't have to carry it all. What you do need to carry is trust. Trust that emptiness isn't something to fear if you call it space for something new. Goodbyes aren't endings if you call them beginnings of becoming. You were born with gifts, wisdom, freedom, light, the ability to expand beyond limits. Today, you're being asked to return those gifts to yourself first. Hold yourself the way you once held someone you loved, and if a tear falls, let it touch your heart like a sacred act of rebirth. Listen closely. Pain isn't here to trap you. It's here to remind you that you are ready for something greater. This rebirth isn't just for you, it's for the versions of you still living inside. The ones that got left behind. The dreams that were postponed. The soul fragments waiting for your return. At the end of this message, I invite you to do something simple. Place one hand over your heart, the other over your belly. Take a deep, grounding breath, and when you're ready, say this aloud. I walk forward not to leave anything behind, but to become everything I was born to be. And I'll be waiting for you on the other side of this journey, where light no longer hides, where truth is welcome, where you are truly seen. I, a soul that is awakening, honor everything that brought me here, even the detours, even the hard lessons, even the things I had to let go of. I let go without resentment. I open my heart without doubt, and I receive the abundance of the universe, not as a reward, but as the natural outcome of living in alignment with my truth. I choose for the road ahead to feel lighter. I choose for my words to carry weight, not because I speak loudly, but because I speak from a grounded heart. I choose to walk without fear. And if these words feel like a sacred cloak draping over you from some distant past, then just breathe. You don't have to force anything. Just remember, there's a reason you're hearing this right now. Keep the promise you once whispered to yourself, because when you do, magic starts to move. The ones who once passed you by as if you were invisible will start to listen. The conversations that were once delayed will return. The old connections will reappear in new, honest, healthy forms, because when you change the way you give and the way you receive, life responds with synchronicity. It doesn't reward you, it mirrors you. Let me leave you with an image, not to stir your emotions, but to illuminate a decision. Picture a vast field, a place where you once planted seeds, tended dreams, and hoped. A wise traveler knows when to keep tending, when to let the earth rest, and precisely when it's time to move on, to seek a new mountaintop that matches the size of their next dream. The Ten of Pentacles is the soil you stand on now. Death is not a shadowy figure, but the keeper of time, offering you golden shears to gently cut away what's already completed its cycle. Justice doesn't come as a heavy scale, but as light, shining into the places you've avoided, helping you tell the difference between real fire and a flame borrowed from illusion. Four of Swords whispers, if you don't allow yourself to be still, how will you ever hear your soul's true call? Eight of Cups reveals hollow pillars, once noble ideals, now limiting frames. You are not failing by letting go of an old belief, you are maturing. And when you release, Six of Wands greets you with quiet pride, like a warrior returning not for medals, but for peace. Six of Cups brings memories back, not to imprison you, but to help you choose which parts are worthy of being written into your next chapter. The bell of judgment rings out, not to summon you to court, but to call you back to your highest responsibility, to live in alignment with who you truly are. The King of Pentacles offers you stability, not from someone else, but from the structure you've built with your own steady hands. The Tower has done its work. It didn't collapse out of cruelty. It liberated you from the small room, the one you've outgrown, the one with no windows left for the dreams you now carry. And as those walls come down, the Ace of Cups appears, like a spring in the middle of the desert, offering you the gentle taste of what it means to be yourself again. This is not a love that comes searching for salvation. This is the love that emerges from a soul already healed. It doesn't uproot you, it anchors you, right in the place you were once hidden. This love isn't impulsive, it's patient. It doesn't ask you to fit better. It reminds you your truth is already beautiful. Remember this, your energy is sacred. Your presence is an invitation to the noble and the real. You don't have to exhaust yourself to be seen. What's truly meant for you will never ask you to abandon your boundaries, and what's not meant for you will soon reveal itself, not to hurt you, but to help you stop bargaining with what no longer nourishes your soul. And if you're still listening, I have a simple invitation for you. Take a deep breath, place your hand over your chest, and write in the comments, I walk forward not to leave, but to expand my horizon. That one act of claiming transforms you from a lost traveler into a soul navigating your destiny by the light of your own inner fire. And now I'll leave you with an open thread, because you, Sagittarius, you don't live at the end of a sentence. You live in the ellipses of what's coming next. The cards have whispered to me about the map, about the precision of the blade that purifies, about the scale that once tipped unfairly, and how you're finally bringing it back to balance. They've also shown me the necessary chaos before the release, and a pure cup waiting for you just beyond the next threshold. But there's still one element unrevealed, a missing piece that only shows itself when you take the step you've silently prepared for days, months, maybe even years. There is a name, a truth, a connection, a forgotten goal that must be spoken aloud with clarity and calm. So what belongs to you can return with justice. There are gestures that seem small, but they are the keys to grand gates, and a sign is coming. One so clear you'll no longer question which door to open. But first, come closer. In the next part, we'll uncover the hidden detail that can shift the entire story and walk you into a new dimension of your destiny. I'm still holding the deck in my hands because I can feel it. A world is moving, not in haste, but in precise stillness. Life no longer calls to you with noise. It calls to you with a feeling that takes shape in silence, like the scent of a new season. On the first breeze of change, every piece is finding its place. Every gear is aligning, and when it happens, you'll know, not with your mind, but with a vibration deep in your chest. I see a tiny message on a piece of paper you once overlooked, a decision illuminated by your inner compass, a sign, clear as day, pointing to where you need to go. Let your heartbeat echo fully, because what's coming next isn't random, it's a divine confirmation for the path you've always felt, but never quite dared to walk. And when the moon inside you whispers, "It's time," what others see as chaos, you'll recognize as the alchemy of your becoming. Because you, Sagittarius, you don't run from truth, you don't fear endings. You bow before the unknown horizon and take the next step. You don't reject pain, you transmute it, like a goldsmith using fire to extract what is precious. And as I look deeper into the deck, death appears once more, but this time it is not alone. It comes with 4 of Wands and 9 of Pentacles, forming a sacred triangle. A new portal opening. For the evolution of your soul, death is no longer a sigh, it's the non-negotiable signal. Their cycle is complete. No more arguing, no more delaying. It arrives like the change of seasons, silent, inevitable, and absolute. And just beyond it, 4 of Wands reveals itself, a radiant resting place after the long road traveled. That sacred space was never just filled with laughter. It holds room for a new kind of faith to be born. And then the 9 of Pentacles arrives, painting your image with such clarity, self-sufficient yet never cold, abundant yet never closed off, independent without forgetting your roots, peaceful because you chose the right moment to say goodbye. When you learn that holding on out of fear hurts more than letting go with respect, the harvest arrives. Just then, 8 of Wands and Knight of Cups are thrown onto the table, like a sudden breeze rushing through a long-closed window. The 8 of Wands brings messages. What you thought would take longer is already approaching, closer than you think. The Knight of Cups offers an invitation, not pushy, not possessive, but tender, like someone knocking on the door of your heart with nothing but honesty. Whether it arrives as an opportunity, a relationship, or a long-awaited reconciliation, what matters most is this. It is a confirmation that you have chosen rightly. You are not being left behind. You are being guided across bridges too sacred to see with the eyes, but unmistakably felt by the soul. And yet, listen closer, because tarot doesn't sugarcoat your journey. The 7 of Wands and 4 of Pentacles appear like gatekeepers at your energy's entrance. It's time to establish boundaries. You don't have to open the kitchen of your soul to everyone. Not everyone deserves access to your creative space. Discern who truly loves you and who's merely intoxicated by your light. Set boundaries, not to divide, but to protect what is sacred and growing within you. This is your garden. This is your fire, patiently smoldering, awaiting its destined blaze. The story unfolds with the Hierophant beside Ace of Swords, a combination as clear as prophecy. The Hierophant brings wisdom from ancient souls, delivered through dreams, a passing conversation, or a stranger saying exactly what you needed to hear. It's a sacred transmission, not through logic, but through frequency. And the Ace of Swords cuts straight through the fog. No more confusion, no more drifting. Just one clear yes, powerful enough to make you rise. It may come as a signature that seals destiny, a decisive phrase in a conversation, a dream so vivid that upon waking, you know what must be done. Don't ignore these signals, Sagittarius, because your clarity is the key to the right door, the one that doesn't squeak, doesn't jam, doesn't make you second guess. And as you approach it, the energy rises with 3 cards, each humming with the warmth of dawn after a desert night. The Sun, King of Wands, 2 of Pentacles, 3 messages, 3 callings, 3 blessings, awaiting to be placed gently in your hands. The moment you cross into your new freedom, the sun warms the parts you once hid away. Its light doesn't just reveal, it reminds you, joy is a spiritual act. The King of Wands, a ruler who never has to roar to be heard, reflects who you are becoming. a soul living fully, shining with belief and leading with vision. And you'll begin to notice this. Those who once misunderstood you now see your light. Even those who doubted you begin to mirror your strength. The Two of Pentacles whispers, balance wisely between ambition and ease, between your dream and your grounding, between the ideals you carry and the ones you love. You were never meant to choose between vision and enough. You were born to blend both, with the intuition of a true pilgrim, one who's learned to trust the compass within, not the borrowed maps of others. What's unfolding now is more than personal growth. It is ancestral healing, in the collective consciousness to which you belong. Great souls walk beside you, not in form, but in resonance. You are mending dreams that were broken long before your name was known. You are rewriting a chapter that your soul was born to write. And here, in this very moment, we reach sacred ground. Because once the inner temple is steady, there comes a time to close the journey with a vow. So now join me, take one deep breath, place your hand over your chest, and speak with the steadiness of one who tends sacred fire. I, Sagittarius, rise in the radiant light of soul freedom. I release beliefs whose seasons have ended. I walk in truth, unafraid to receive the goodness that is already mine. If this resonates with you, write it down below as a sacred affirmation. I, Sagittarius, walk with light and truth to seal this energy with devotion. We will continue, step by step, with precision and wisdom, because this month doesn't just ask for endings. It asks for crystallization. Every choice you make, every piece you keep, every gesture you release is being recorded by the universe, like an arrow released, never flying off course. This is not a time for instinct alone. This is a time for presence, for living with the sensitivity of your emotional skin, where you hear what no one dares to say out loud. And then the final three cards appear: Temperance, Six of Pentacles, Knight of Wands. Temperance, your alchemical archetype, reminds you don't need perfection from anyone. You only need to balance light and shadow, action and stillness, longing and gratitude. Healing does not make you weak, it makes you directed. Six of Pentacles, support at the exact right time. Just when you think you've run dry, help arrives, not to rescue you, but to remind you that you are worthy of receiving. When you no longer grasp or hoard, but let abundance flow through you as a channel. Knight of Wands, the call to act. Its speed may overwhelm you, but remember, this impulse is not chaos. It is part of your soul's design, a contract you signed before you were born. A phase of focused building is here. Eight of Pentacles steps in like a quiet, meticulous artisan. You don't need applause, you just need to keep doing what you're doing. With heart, the Emperor arrives, symbol of structure, not to limit you, but to protect the creative ground you are sowing. And the Hierophant returns again, no longer as dogma, but as confirmation of a soul covenant. You once promised yourself that you would never go back to what broke you, and today you keep that promise. If you've made it this far, comment below, I keep my promise to myself, I step into the light. This journey is not over, it's only just beginning, on a higher frequency, with a soul that has been repositioned, and a heart that now knows exactly why it was born. This is the path of faith, not once and done, but each day you choose to live more honestly, to trust more deeply, to show up more fully. Each time you greet life with a little more devotion, magic finds a way to meet you. It might be an unexpected encounter, a lesson you once skipped over because your heart was still rushing, or a deep sense of belonging to something larger than yourself, a system of meaning that gives you both roots and sky. Not all beautiful things shine, and not all truths come easy, because life teaches us through contrast, through ache, through awakening. Three of Swords. Ten of Swords, Justice. Three cards like gatekeepers knocking gently on your heart. There's an old wound, aching to be touched, not to be pitied, but to be seen and to be honored. Three of Swords speaks of pain long buried. Pain that refuses to be swept under the emotional rug any longer. Ten of Swords marks an ending, not because you're broken, but because you've remembered your dignity, and you know staying any longer would only shrink your light. Justice arrives, not to judge, but to remind you don't need revenge, you don't need explanations, you only need to stand tall and walk forward. The scales of justice never sleep, and you can rest in peace trusting the divine justice that the universe will carry out, in ways you didn't expect, but with stunning precision. And then, the wheel turns again. Nine of Cups appears like a soft exhale after a long journey. I made it, a whisper, not prideful, but humbly full. You've made it through, by the light of your own soul, and now, Ace of Wands bursts forth. A sacred flame after a spiritual winter. It could be a project that rises from the depth of your being. A relationship rooted in deep mutual respect. A final calling that begs to be heard. This beginning will be honest. It won't dazzle. It will ignite you from within. Four of Cups and Ace of Swords urge you. Don't reject the gift just because you're tired. Don't dismiss the light just because it arrives through a crack. Ace of Swords slices through the fog. Truth pierces the haze. Dreams, synchronicities, repeating signs, they're all whispering one singular refrain. You can't pretend you don't know anymore. And then, Six of Cups, Ten of Pentacles, the Hermit, an ancient trio surrounds you, not to pull you back into the past, but to release it, to let what was left unfinished be completed. With kindness. You're not just healing yourself, you're illuminating the lost souls within you, and blessing the ones yet to come. The Hermit, the guide within you, holds the lantern, not a neon sign of false light, but a gentle, enduring glow, enough to help you discern the real from the hollow, to separate empty promises from sacred invitations. Seven of Cups warns you, there will be faces that glow but aren't warm, offers that sound sweet but aren't true, choices that shine bright but don't nourish. Your intuition is your compass. You've always known this. If something tenses your chest, step back. If something lights you up, step forward, even if it's scary. And then, three final cards emerge like a holy rite of closure. Temperance, Ace of Swords, Eight of Pentacles. Temperance, your alchemical spirit, reminds, no one can impose balance from the outside. You are the one who creates it every time you answer the call of the light. Soften pain with gratitude. Let truth flow through without resistance. Ace of Swords once again cuts through the blur, not with words, but with razor-sharp intuition. And Eight of Pentacles, the devoted craftsman within you, steps forward last. You've been quietly building this life, day by day, hour by hour. No noise, no spotlight. But today, the universe sees, you see, and that is enough. If you've walked with me to this final moment, I invite you to leave a prayer in the comments. I choose truth. I walk forward with light and integrity. Because this isn't the end. This is the beginning on a higher octave where heart and mind finally converge. And now, the final three symbols arrive, not to predict, but to confirm. The Sun, King of Pentacles, strength. The sun shines once more on everything left unresolved. It doesn't ask if you're ready. It looks you in the eye and says, you are enough. King of Pentacles, the emblem of steady power. Success that doesn't need to scream. A presence that is simple, yet irreplaceable. You no longer need to prove anything. You just need to be here fully with all that you are. Strength arrives, not roaring, but with a quiet mastery. You realize now, true strength isn't about controlling everything. It's about releasing what no longer serves, holding what still matters, and saying no to the love that diminishes your light. This week, this month, this life, you will be challenged, but you will also become the version of yourself you once only dared to imagine. Peaceful, clear, not running, not clinging, just free. And now, dear Sagittarius, I reshuffle the deck like a sacred closing rite. Judgment, Ace of Pentacles, the world, a destined triangle. Judgment isn't a warning bell, it's a soul calling, one you've heard for a very long time. It doesn't demand obedience, it asks for truth. The kind you tell yourself in the mirror. Ace of Pentacles, a doorway opens on solid ground. Tangible opportunity, a project ready to form, a milestone you can touch, a contract, a promise, a beginning. The world, there's no more doubt. A cycle has completed itself fully. Something that once felt far away is now within your reach. Something you postponed is now arriving at your doorstep. And as fulfillment rises within you, you understand. It wasn't luck, it was you, walking forward with honesty and courage. But the cards still have one last whisper. Two of Swords, doubt lingers. Am I worthy of this? Will I be able to keep it if it's real? And then Wheel of Fortune turns and it answers, yes, not because you're perfect, but because the cycle is ready to shift. Knight of Pentacles follows behind, assuring you that what is coming with stability. Step by step, not rushed, but undeniable. This isn't a fleeting miracle. It's the harvest of countless quiet seasons. Still, the human heart must learn how to say goodbye. Nine of Swords, Eight of Cups, you know this. You will have to walk away from an old identity, an old belief, an old version of you. Not because it was wrong, but because it no longer holds who you've become. Don't call it a loss, call it a release. When you let it go, new air rushes in. Relief will arrive, like the stillness after a wave crashes. And when you wipe away the last tear, the sun will appear again, not ahead, not behind, but right inside your chest. Six of Wands, King of Cups, the final two cards. Six of Wands, recognition. You will be seen, not because you were loud, but because you walked the path no one else dared to take. King of Cups, you've mastered your emotions, but you haven't lost your heart. You love, but you don't dissolve. You're gentle, but you still hold your direction. This harmony now flows through you, like something that's always been there. You just hadn't touched it until now. And allow me, like an old soul who's watched many suns rise and fall, to whisper this to you. This month will bring you what has always been yours, but it will ask one thing. You must choose. You cannot carry the new light if your hands are still full of ashes. You cannot walk into the future if you keep doubting the truth that's already clear. Close this chapter with gratitude. Release with relief, like a wave that willingly retreats, so a new one may rise. And if you've made it all the way to this final breath of the journey, write this in the comments below. I, Sagittarius, hold my flame with integrity. I welcome my destiny in light. Even when the world is loud, your true compass lies within. There you choose. There you are reborn. And when everything aligns in its divine timing, you'll know you no longer have to go anywhere to find freedom. You are freedom. You are the light that's been waiting to be released.